The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corporation.
Hello, and welcome to Consciously Rising on Worldwide Digital Broadcast TV. I'm your host, Jeff Renel, and today we have Josh Carpenter, Mr. Blue, with us.
Hello, hello.
How you doing, my friend?
Good.
Today we're going to talk to you a little bit about social media etiquette and how to handle yourself on social media, whether you're getting bullied, how to just create a good profile where you don't have security problems and give out too much information and different things like that. So, Josh, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind? You are the creator of Mr. Blue TV.
Yes.
So I know that you have a lot of passion for that project as well, too. But can you give our listening audience just a little bit of info about yourself?
Yes, my name is Josh Carpenter. I own a company called Impact Image Marketing, and I also do freelance digital media. One of the things that one of the projects I started working on that I got real passionate about was something called Mr. Blue TV. It's a YouTube channel, and on it I have different types of edits that I do, motivational videos, local news, shows that I've done. And I really enjoy working with video and working with digital media and really trying to expand my horizons. I even went the corporate sector for a little bit and worked with a tech company in California and got to market a product called Servi, which is an autonomous robot. So that was a really fun project. So I really like getting into projects that expand my horizons and really challenge me and let me use my creativity. So if you're looking for somebody that does that, yeah, that's me.
And so, but your specialty, where you really specialize in all of those fields, is really with social media. I know you even do classes, or you have done classes on teaching people how to create profiles and do different things on there. I know I've taken them a few times and forgot a lot of stuff I've learned already, but you do different things like that as well, too.
Yes. I do mostly private coaching, or if companies would like a trainer to come in order to work with, their team or just, the owners of the business. That's kind of how I run it. I used to do classes on a regular basis, but the truth of the matter is if people want to learn and be consistent, they have to be able to do it on their own. And so that's why I've chosen to go this route, in order to be able to go to the places that are calling and really needing the help, instead of trying to do it all in one location by myself.
Awesome. So let's just get to it then. So when we're talking social media, we're talking like Facebook, Twitter, even YouTube as well, correct?
YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat.
And there's new ones every single day out there.
Pretty much. There's over 360 now, probably far exceeding that. So, I mean, myself alone, I've probably dabbled in over 100 different platforms.
Wow.
Just to test the waters, see what the different thing is. And
so let's get right on that right there. So if you've been in over 100 of them,
mm-hmm.
then that means your information has been out in over 100 different platforms,
mm-hmm.
and probably is still out there in those platforms, correct?
Some of the accounts I shut down. Some of the companies, like Blab, went out of business, got bought out. So it was really just a testament for me in order to see what companies were staying, see what the trends were, and it really helped just give me an idea. Sometimes I wouldn't even create accounts under my name. I would do an alias name just so I could test the platform before I started putting my public profile on it. And by doing that, that's where I really got to know the landscape of digital media and social media.
Okay, and I can understand that, but most people probably wouldn't be able to do what you're doing there.
Right.
So my point where I was hinting at, and where you might be able to help them out at, is if you're putting that much information out there, how do you do it? I mean, do you go back and close your accounts? You said you closed a few of yours. So when you close an account, is that securing your information?
It doesn't really secure your information. It takes it off of whatever that platform is. But anything you put out on the internet could permanently be out there. I mean, there's ways to screenshot, download videos. As a matter of fact, somebody could be downloading this video right now, and
yeah.
So when it comes to that kind of stuff, I mean, there's really nothing you can do in that sense except for be aware of what you're putting out there. But to answer your question on what platforms should certain people be on, that's really determined by your company, your demographic audience, and what kind of different things you want to put out there. Is it a public figure? Is it a product? Is it a show? So once you determine all of the content that you want to put out there, then that's when you determine what platforms you use.
Okay. But so I mean, if you're trying to really watch what you're doing and stuff, or one thing I was just kind of get at too is, and you mentioned it, is that your information is going to be out there for a long time, and it could be out there forever in those platforms once you put your information out there.
Yes.
So I know this is your business on going and learning different social media, but would you advise other people to check all these different platforms out, or how would you advise them to keep themselves safe if they're going to go? I mean, like, if I'm like, I am a parent and I got two beautiful little daughters and stuff like that, so if they're going to start to do social media, how do I protect them?
So when it comes to being a parent, when it comes to the internet and kids, I mean, you can put parental guides out there, but they could watch a YouTube channel that shows them step by step how to take those parental guides off. So you really have to instill the morals in them as they're growing up and teach them as you want them to be, and as you entrust them with responsibility as a car or anything else, the internet is no different. And when you feel that you've guided them properly, then you can trust that they're doing the right thing on the internet. I mean, there is ways in order to track computers and
well,
their data
okay, so
and all
let's
that
even
stuff
go
and
here
keep an
though.
eye
I
on
mean,
them.
because yeah, I understand that, and that's a subject to cover too. But no, I mean, I trust my kids and stuff like that, and I know a lot of parents do trust their kids, but it's the people on the other side. How do we protect them from them? How do they watch out for who they're looking for then? I mean, because I mean, you got to trust when they're by themselves. You never know what they're doing, so you always have to have that trust. But do I allow them on certain social medias, or do I not? What do I do? How, as a parent, would I just kind of govern what they're doing a little bit? Or is there a way?
I mean, Facebook, Twitter, they do have parental guidance and certain things where, they can protect against certain things. There's even parental guidance on their computers and their phones and stuff like that. But there's a certain point where the parental guidance, they're just an aid. They're not really a guarantee that they're not going to stumble upon something. So it's really what's in the mind of the person. So, I mean, go into your kids' phones, get into their life if you really want to know what it is that they're doing, or you talk to them and you have a conversation. But, I mean, that's really the only way that you're really going to be able to control it, is by being in their life and really knowing what they're doing. I mean, if a kid is suicidal, he's going to be, probably going on, a group of peers who are the same way and propelling that. So get into their life. it really starts with the person. I mean, the internet is just the tool, and people have to realize that. And it's the same with social media. So how are you using it, and how are your children using it is the question that needs to be asked.
Okay. So put it back on the parent.
I'm not a parent, but as a parent, can you relate to that?
Well, no, I mean, everything you're saying is 100% true, but as a parent, and that's why I'm asking, as a concerned parent, how do I protect my kid when my kid's out there? I mean, what kind of conversation should I have with my kid about social media on how to run their profile and how to protect themselves from predators? Or if there's young kids watching right now, how can they identify predators? Because I know there's, I mean, not that they're predators, but they could be associated with a predator system, but aren't there like clone machines that can be trying to connect with you and act like another person and have a profile, and it's actually just a computer program? I mean, what are those, and how I mean, just as a concerned parent, how do I watch or even inform my kid on how to protect themselves over something like that? How do I know, and how do I watch out? And so if I do get in there and look, I mean, I'm not a parent that, I mean, yes, you need to have surveillance over your kid in a certain way, but I'm not one to just peep and tom over my kid. But
why?
But
the
if
government is.
Yeah, I mean, that's them. But anyhow, I'm just saying. But I mean, how do I identify with something like that if I'm seeing the post coming in? How do I identify that it's a real person, not a well, I mean, an insane person? You're going to see insane stuff on there, of course. But how do they protect themselves on something like that if they're getting harassed or something like that?
So let's start with you were talking about bots. So bots are pre-programmed accounts, fake accounts, if you will, that are done through an algorithm by computer programmers who are creating scripts in order to be able to test the network of these different social media platforms, whether it be Twitter, whatever the case is. So in order to really know if it's a real person or not, you can really tell by the amount of content that's put into it. If all you see is one post, a main picture, and a cover picture, and then only 3-4 friends, that is most likely a fake account.
And the other one too, especially like with the male accounts, you get the female ones coming in all the time, and you go look at the friend list, and it's just all males.
Right. And then you also have the situation of trolls. Since Facebook is international, you're dealing with people from other countries. So there's some people who try to use social media in order to lure people to gain citizenship to come into the U.S. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things. I mean, and then you can get into the dark web and all of that.
Well, I don't want to really cover the dark web right now, but definitely, something that's going to help the viewers out on understanding this,
It would be police, DEA, FBI, all of those different organizations. One of the things that they really put precautions out is, don't let people know where you are every second. Don't always be checking in. Be cognizant of your world and what you're doing and what you're putting out there. And I think if you're using technology from that mindset, then you'll be fine. And that's really how you have to see it. I mean, I could tell you all the dark, deep stuff that's out there and that you're being watched 24/7, but all it's going to do is just panic you and panic the viewers. When Edward Snowden gave the information about the NSA and how they were spying on citizens, everyday citizens, it was a shock to the world, but to a lot of hackers and technology gurus, it wasn't a big thing. And now our smart TVs, have capabilities that can have you while you're sitting on your couch. You can be watched. So
through your computer screen and all that.
So there's no guarantee to safety. It's proceed with the internet as you would proceed in life. If you're walking down the street, and you see something different, well, if you're on the internet and somebody says something to you,
you unfriend them, do whatever you have to do to get.
Right. there's blocking features, there's ways in order to not get harassed, and these platforms have worked diligently in really making it so people wouldn't get bullied or harassed. So use the features and use the the questions, forums, and Facebook will help you along. I actually just put out a post the other day that I got from Facebook saying, thank you for helping make Facebook better, because when a bot comes along, I end up reporting it. And I mean, I get so many of them, I think I've taken down like 50 accounts. So I mean, report it if you see it too, because that's the only way to do something against
exactly.
it.
Yes, exactly.
Be an impact.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
Crazy Terry here with your car care tip of the day. So it's not a bad idea every now and then to check your battery. If you don't know how to do it, have somebody check it for you. Just a visual inspection can tell you a lot about your battery. So as we can see here, this battery's got a hold down. It's nice and tight. The cables are on. They don't look bad. We've got a cover. We don't see any corrosion. Everything's kind of tight, looking good. A little bit of dirt, that's normal, but nothing's leaking. No real cause for alarm here. So that's a good sign. Doesn't mean it's good, but at least visually we know that it's intact. Okay, so we're looking at a battery here that shows signs of corrosion. We want to test that battery to make sure it's good. Usually when they're getting like this, there's going to be a problem, leaking some acid at the top. We ran the test and we find out it has 396 cold cranking amps, but the battery requires 650. So it's just not enough. The battery is going to go soon. Better to know now than later. Okay, so the benefits of checking the cable is because this cable's rotted out. What we'll find is this is the problem, not the battery. So it'll save you from buying a battery, still having the no start, only to find out that it's a cable. This type of corrosion is common in diesels. Okay, so we're getting ready to jump the car, but we have to have some battery cables. And we have to check those too before we hook them up to the battery. So here we have our standard set of battery cables. We just look them over, see if the ends are frayed, if everything's connected all right. Everything looks good here. Wouldn't hurt to check the rest of the cable just to make sure the dog didn't get it and chew it up. We have red and black. Red's positive, black's negative. You always want to hook the positive up first and then the negative. And I'll show you how that's done right now. Keep these off to the side so they're not touching each other. Hook up your positive. You can find that right here by the plus sign, the negative sign. Plus is positive, red. Make sure that's securely hooked up. Keeping these away from each other, hook up your negative cable. Just got to fight it on there, figure out a way to get it. Wiggle it a little bit so it ensures a good connection. Now you're transferring voltage. If I hit these two together, we're going to spark. Kind of want to avoid that. Won't kill you. Kind of fun. A lot of people think if they can turn the headlights on, the battery's fine. That's not always the case. It takes very little amperage to turn a light on, but it takes a lot of amperage to start the starter. I recommend checking the charging system every oil change. At Sun Valley Automotive, there's never a charge for that. This is Crazy Terry with your car care tip of the day.
Welcome back to Consciously Rising. I'm here with Josh Carpenter, and we're talking a little bit about social media and just etiquette on social media. Basically, what you're telling me is, truly, and it's the same thing in everything in life, have common sense. Have common sense what you do there, have common sense in how you approach people on there as well, too. And just really quick, and again, this is, I'm sure, is just common sense, too, but what information do you want to give and which information don't you want to give if you're creating a profile or maybe a business profile, and just in general, just to make sure you don't give out too much information? Does that make sense?
Okay, so let's take that from 3 different perspectives.
Okay.
You have your dating life, your personal life, and your business life. With your business life, all of the information that has to do vitally to your business and people contacting you, of course that information is obvious to most business people. Personal, don't say where you are all the time. If you're going to put stuff that you don't want, that may be offensive to, let's say, people in your business or something like that, then use a different account or don't put it out there. Create an alias account and post whatever you want on there. But
if you're going to do something that your business doesn't agree with, or,
right, exactly,
or associates and stuff.
Exactly. So, and same with groups and stuff like that. I mean, you wouldn't want to use your personal profile if you're, interested in different groups that would lead you back to that. It's called the digital footprint. Don't leave a digital footprint that's going to show. That's why I love these business owners that try to do, say they're a marketing company, and then you go to check their digital footprint and they don't even have a website. It was a cut and paste kind of thing, or you can see that they have 3 different company names all going to the same address. You can really see a lot. When I started freelancing and I was looking for other companies, it's amazing to see how they disguise themselves to be one thing on the internet, and then when you meet them in person, whether it's dating or business or whatever, it's something totally different. So do your research.
Yeah, and then on that note too, I mean, just in social media, and that's a big topic, is what do we do, or how do we act in social media? Because there's that shield in front of us when I'm behind that computer, or the screen, I should say, and nobody can really see me. And so I can almost write what I want, do what I want on there and stuff. I mean, it's almost like we wear 2 different hats.
That is true, and you see it a lot, especially with dating apps. You go to try to meet someone, and you're putting all this, vulnerable personal information out there. And a lot of women now use, different screen names. They don't use their real name, and they don't put their address. And in order to get a phone number, you have to text or join something. So it's becoming a little bit more secure, but still there's a lot of crime that happens on the internet from that stuff too. So you just have to be cognizant, really,
and watch what you're actually getting yourself into as well too. Because if you look into something dark and disturbing, then you could get attached by cookies or whatever. I'm sure too, or if that's what they're called, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's different malware that you can get, and different spyware and viruses and all that. But that's different subject altogether.
Well, I'm just saying, if that's the kind of stuff you're looking at in the internet, then you can be around those type of people as well too, and that shady stuff. But if you keep, I don't ever have issues on anything on the internet except for the bots and stuff on my social media accounts. Other than that, I don't ever have issues, but I don't use it for anything else but business, really.
You have 2 different types of people. The people that realize what's going on and accept it, and the people that try to fight it. And what I mean by that is, if you know that you're constantly being watched and surveilled everywhere you go, no matter if you're walking on the street and CCTV, whether you're on a show and it's being broadcast out to the internet, whether it's a picture of yourself in high school that got circulated and put out onto the internet. I mean, a lot of things are put out there. I mean, ask Paris Hilton; she'll be able to tell you.
Oh yeah.
What you put out there is what's going to grab. So. The people that are worried about it the most are the people that actually have something to hide. Those are the people that are usually asking this question because they want to know, how do I protect myself? Well, you get a Tor browser, and you spoof your VPN, and you use different servers and bounce around, and you can kind of remain anonymous if you want in that sense. If you go to my website, I've actually done a blog on how to do it step by step. So if you want your privacy, there's ways to do that and get that out there. But what is the reason that you're asking? Well, that's what I asked the person asking me. Because
I mean, truthfully, if I know how to do the security measures, I'm going to do them just for my own security, because I'm sure if I'm doing that, that's taking that next measure. I mean, it's just that in life. If you educate yourself on the subjects you're working in, it only helps you through that, and not, put you in that victim category, whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, me personally, I wouldn't mind check out that video, so I know how to do some things. I mean, not that I need to hide anything, but if I'm on there, I don't want to be seen.
ImpactImageMarketing.com/blogs.
Yeah. What was I just going to ask you? Never mind.
Well, I know one of the things that we wanted to talk about is how do we find a fine balance, if you will, between social life and actual real people versus communicating and being constantly glued to our devices and being antisocial. That's a huge question for a lot of people, and sometimes there is a challenge in being able to balance that. You just have to be cognizant. Like right now, the reason that I have my phone out is to actually prove this point. But normally in a communication, if you and I are doing something, then it's going to be, down away from it, and you're going to show the person that you're with the respect. So, I mean, when it comes to etiquette, there's just, certain kinds of etiquette. If you're on a date with a girl, are you going to have your phone and constantly be on it? What kind of, signals is that going to give to her? And you also have to think from perspective of body language. What is your body language saying to the person that you're with if you're constantly on your device?
Well, yeah, and I think it's going to take the art of listening away from people, because if you're not constantly having a communication like this, you're not always listening. If you just look on your device and say, oh, Josh text, oh, this is what he had to say, okay, put it down, and then I don't have to respond for a half hour and stuff, and then it takes me a while before I have to look. So it's really cutting off that communication and that listening aspect. And yeah, I think it can really, it's an amazing thing what's happening with the internet, but it also can be a negative thing as well too if people don't watch what's going on. And it still is a new thing, even though it's been around almost 20 years now, if not more.
Well, and the way that it's changing, I mean, there's different ways that you can use it to where you can really impact relationships. Say there's long distance relationships out there, and well, now they're able to do FaceTime, or they can do Skype or something like that and actually be able to see each other. Whereas opposed to before in the 1950s, it was like operator, and
yeah.
Wow, I'm talking to somebody. So you got to really think, wow, we've caught all these different leaps, and let's take advantage of the things. I mean, there's tons of troops that, have been overseas that are able to speak to their families and try and have some form of communication. So it's done some amazing things in Egypt. There's been revolutions that have, been able to happen because they've had a voice on the internet. And we want to keep the internet free and be able to have that voice.
Yeah, no, I know. I agree 100%. I think it's a beautiful thing. I mean, one thing it's done for me is I know when I first got on Facebook, all of a sudden, boom, all these people I haven't heard of from since high school started popping up, and now we have communication and stuff like that, which is awesome. And even though they're in other states, we could still see what's going on and say, hey, what's up, congratulations, all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, it really shows, like you were just saying a minute ago, before you're getting on just that telephone and you just that one-on-one conversation. Now we can have multiple conversations online at the same time, FaceTime, all that, but it's just so much easier to connect with everybody that it was so hard before. So yeah, it's doing some beautiful things, and there's another topic we need to get into here in a minute about all of that and make sure that it stays safe for us in the long run, having the internet around. So why don't we take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back and talk about that, because that's an important subject for you and for all of us.
Battle for the net.
Yes.
When we return.
Do you use social media for your business? Do you feel social media is too time-consuming or difficult to navigate? Here at Impact Image Marketing, we simplify social media for you. We sit down with you and evaluate what you have and help you get started. We help you learn the basics. Remember, social media is a process that includes you, the business owner. Before you hand it over to someone, take control of your social presence today. For more information, go to www.impactimagemarketing.com or call to schedule an appointment today, 702-249-0484. Once again, that number is 702-249-0484. Remember, Impact Image Marketing is helping you simplify social media.
Welcome back to Consciously Rising. I'm here with Josh Carpenter, and we're getting ready to talk about a very important subject, not only dear to your heart, but it should be dear to everybody's heart. It is the battle for the net. And why don't you tell us a little bit about it, because it's kind of new to me in a way, and you can explain it way better.
Net neutrality, as it is also known. This is a big thing that's going on all over the internet, and it's been trending for the past couple of months. The FCC has had numerous thousands and millions of requests in order to keep the internet open and free. That is correct. We are in jeopardy of our internet being run by cable companies and major corporations. And if that happens, that means websites like The Sacred Art of Healing, Impact Image Marketing, this website that you're on right now, unless it's YouTube, will all have slower traffic. And the bigger companies like Google, Amazon, Walmart, these are all the big companies that will have the faster traffic. So innovators, people who have created, amazing tools on the internet for us to be able to utilize and help each other out, like GoFundMe and all these other ones that have helped amazing organizations, well, innovation like that will stop. And education in royal small towns that don't have teachers, they won't have access to all this free information. They'll have to watch whatever is programmed by the cable companies and the corporations, and that will be the majority, not only of what we're seeing in broadcasting, but also what we're seeing in the internet. So the way for us to combat that is to get a message to the FCC saying we the people want a free internet. We do not want the cable companies to hike up the rates. We don't want them to be able to slow the traffic of smaller websites, and we want to be able to continue to innovate and do what we want. And if that's the kind of internet that you do want, then go to battleforthenet.com, and all you got to do is just put in your information, and it sends off a message to the FCC.
That's awesome. And it's not something that you want to wait around to do either. It's something that's happening right now, correct?
Correct.
And this isn't something we want to wait around and let them get their feet in the ground and get this passed before we have a call to action. So that's one reason why we're bringing it up right now, is to make sure this gets out there so everybody can go to, again,
battleforthenet.com, or if you're on Facebook, just go to facebook.com/battleforthenet. And I created a page there that you can follow that gives you constant up-to-date news on things that are happening and keeping you informed as we continue to fight for the internet.
Yeah, this could be a really scary thing here, because right now everybody's equal on the internet, and everybody has an equal voice. Everybody has the right to the equal information. You can be in Timbuktu and get all the information that you're getting in New York City. And so if something like this happens, that won't be anymore. And if you are able to get information like this from the way I understand it from you and watching that video, which we will have on at the end of this show, if you don't pay into it and stuff, they give you slower access, so it's harder to stream in a video. So you give up and go watch the other video of their choice, of the ones that they're trying to sell you on to give you their information, instead of allowing you to have free access to all information. I mean, look what's happened with the people since the internet has come around, and especially in the last 10 years, information has exploded. This is a very important subject, I think, and really we need to stand up and definitely get out there and battle for the net for sure. It's nothing to think lightly on, huh?
No, it's not. And one of the things you really want to keep into consideration is that one, we really don't have much time, so get the word out there, talk about it, be more proactive. Follow the news and just do what you can in order to support it. And with that, small business and everything else will continue to thrive. And there's a lot of people in the Senate that are really against the corporations taking over. So we do have people in our corner that are really speaking up for us. which is awesome. So we just got to keep supporting. Go to local meetings if you really want to support. There's We Demand Progress, and with that organization, they actually will tell you where different meetings are if you really want to support and stand in front of the White House, as some have, and protest.
Yeah, and you should have all the links on the bottom of this video for what we're talking about now.
Yes.
So you can get in there and definitely sign the petition for that. That's scary stuff. It really is. To lose the type of information we have. I think that would cause a huge uprising if something like that was to happen.
Well, for myself, I have learned a lot from the internet. The internet has been my second school. Sad to say, I've learned more from the internet than I did from college. It's just a wealth of information that's out there. Think and Grow Rich. Good, I got the audiobook. I got this.
Yeah.
I can fuel my mind with whatever I want to fuel it with. And so the reason that I got into social media is because it wasn't something that was taught in college when I was going to school in business in 2005. This was something that was just new, and people were learning how to use it. And it's like Mark Zuckerberg said, we don't know what it is. It's just cool. And so I thought it was fun, and I wanted to learn it. And in order for me to be able to do that, the internet provided me the tools and resources to learn it. And as I practice my craft, that's how I'm able to speak today and give information, is because it was the internet that taught me.
Yeah, the information, I use it all the time for information. I mean, I always tell people and laugh about it. It's like, man, you want a college education, just sit down on YouTube for a week. Yeah, look it all up. You could, anatomy, anything you can think of, quantum physics, it's all out there.
You can go to Udemy, you can get courses on SEO, you can go to, code college and learn how to be a coder. There's
anything you want to learn, it's all there. You need to
degrees.
work on your car, you get in there and just find out how to do it. You can find the specific car and everything.
How do I change my oil? Watching a YouTube video with the wrench.
Yeah, it's amazing, the stuff. And we'll lose all of that if we don't stand up and sign into that petition that we'll have the link for there.
Battleforthenet.com. Battleforthenet.com.
Yeah, and then we won't have the freedom of speech that we have at this moment as well, too, because that's very important. Because there's a lot of people that, like us right now, and like you, bringing up this point. It's not being mentioned on the main media and stuff like that. I haven't seen it on anything like that.
They do have it on C-SPAN when senators are speaking and stuff like that, but they also have YouTube channels like the John Oliver Show. That is a really great show. He's an amazing news teller. The way that he relates humor and ridiculousness of certain politics and things. Watch Net Neutrality with John Oliver, and what he talks about there is really hitting. And John Oliver is someone that would be at risk if this happened. That's why he's really big into it. He even created a subdomain in order to lead people directly to the petition so they can go. He's created a lot of stuff, and he's been a big impact, and so have a lot of other YouTube stars, out there, and educators and stuff. So we want to keep that.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Well, I would definitely want to thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
Great information, great knowledge. Yeah, if you ever need anything social media wise, this is the guy. I go to him when I need him. He's amazing. Definitely check out Mr. Blue TV too. You'll find some crazy videos that he's edited and put in there. A lot of fun. Thank you so much, Josh.
My pleasure.
Is there anything else plug yourself really quick before we go, so you can put out your links as well too. And
yeah, you can find me on impactimagemarketing.com. You'll see all my services, my portfolio of what I've done. And for my freelance site, just go to joshcarpenternv, as in Nevada.com. And that will have all of my information, bios, and stuff there. And one last shout out.
yesterday we lost a Playboy legend, Hugh Hefner, and I just want to give a shout out to the man. He is the one who actually helped get me through puberty, so thank you. And a lot of guys here, I'm sure. So let's tip our hats to the man and give him a send-off as well.
And also, I guess we got to mention what John's telling us. He happened to die on Hump Day. Oh, that's great. Great news, great news.
Thank you, everyone.
All
Mr.
right,
Blue
take
here.
care.
Corporations don't control the internet. Yet. In the United States, Brazil, and India, net neutrality activists and small startups have been winning, with millions of messages to regulators and protests in the streets.
I can tell you that the issue of net neutrality is a huge issue in the state of Vermont, and in fact all over this country. Through our email efforts, we ask people in our state, and in every state, to send statements to the FCC on their views on net neutrality. Over 40,000 people responded, sometimes with very long and detailed statements. Bottom line here is that the internet today is such a strong concept and is so very effective is because everybody is treated equally, whether you're Walmart, whether you're a small business, whether you're a kid doing research, whether you're a university professor. It is absolutely imperative that we retain net neutrality, and I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that we do that.
You can visit Google or Facebook, but they're not the internet. Amazingly, these giant corporations exist right alongside smaller independent websites, startups and activists working to lessen their power and create something independent that allows more freedom and is less intrusive than the big corporations. But now, that's changing. The telecom companies we use to access the internet are giving corporate giants like Facebook special treatment. Sometimes it's a marketing trick. Other times it's for profit. They sell special treatment. Either way, the result is the same: a terrible new future where old telecom giants and new internet giants conspire to remain in control forever. A future where videos on corporate sites work, but on smaller sites, they break. A future where expensive phone calls work, but free phone calls over the internet break. A future where giant corporate sites are subsidized to appear free, but independent sites are so expensive to access no one visits them. This future may be coming to Europe. By August, EU regulators will make their final decision: prohibit special treatment with strong net neutrality rules, or hand the internet's future to the corporate giants of telecom and tech.